So here we are at Kettering Driving Test Centre, and we're just going to go and look at a typical route with regards to the mistakes that the candidate makes on the way, and probably a heads up for other candidates on their driving test. So we're turning left here and we're coming down to Orion Way, and it's always a right turn here because there's nowhere to go on the left. On the windscreen you can see the reflection of the examiner's sat-nav. So this candidate will be following a sat-nav for at least 20 minutes of our 40-minute test today. Quite often candidates are asked to park up on the left here, past this junction. But today it doesn't look like our candidate will be doing that. Coming round this corner, just stay off the white line in the middle because lorries do come round. The next roundabout is the McDonald's roundabout because there's a McDonald's there, and that would explain that. And the candidate's been asked to turn right towards Pytchley. So far so good into the right hand lane. We can't see what their mirrors are like in the car or anything like that, or hopefully the signals are correct. And a mirror check there before leaving the roundabout with a left signal. And off we go into the national speed limit country lane. And the miles per hour hasn't kicked in yet on the sat-nav on our camera. Unfortunately, we have a kind of external GPS on that, but doesn't seem to be picking it up, but never mind. So we're coming up here past the golf course on the left, and there's a memorial here. Unfortunately, there was an accident a little while ago, and sadly a young man died. And we're just going up towards Pytchley village. I can see the candidate is on the left side of the road at the moment, but he does seem to be coming over the line slightly. And this was mentioned at the end of the test that maybe he was too far over that line. He doesn't seem to be too far over it at the moment. So I think we're okay at this point. So one thing with driving tests on country lanes, you've just got to drive at a reasonable speed. You don't have to be doing 60. The speed's popped up now. So doing about 40 along here, coming up to Pytchley village. Speed's appropriate really for the road. And here we come up to some 30 signs, so hopefully he's coming into 30. Well done. So that's good. He's coming in at 30. Got a warning signs there for the bend in the road. And off we go around these bends. Now, Pytchley village is quite well used in Kettering test. There's a lot of routes coming through this village, and it sort of fulfills the requirement for some country lane testing. Coming down the bottom here, it's normally a left and then an immediate right. Now, let's see what happens here. We have to stay on the left side of the road on the left turn. Can you see the right opposite? So it's a left here and an immediate right, and the candidate's gone over the line slightly. He's crossed the line before the turn, and that ended up as a serious fault. Although there were no one there, and there was no oncoming cars, that was still marked as a serious fault and thus a foul on the driving test. A little bit harsh maybe, considering no one was on the junction, and asked to pull up on the left here. Quite often examiners ask the candidates to pull up on the left, maybe 3 or 4 times for various reasons. One, to check the legality, make sure you're not on double yellows, the convenience, not opposite junctions, uphill starts, downhill starts, behind a car for an angled start, and sometimes even more, if the candidate's not really checking blind spots correctly or whatnot, the examiner may pull them over more, in my opinion. I have known people to be pulled over countless times. And we're coming out of Pytchley now and into the country lanes again. We can see the national speed limit sign there. and off we go. So far we've picked up a serious fault on the left and the right for crossing the line before turning right. So that's a good lesson to learn on that Pytchley turn, to have a full view down the new road before you turn into it, and to try and stay on your side. I suppose the best way of doing that is to do it very slowly and just take your time with it. And that will be the secret of success on that turn. So we're on the country lanes again, coming round the back of Kettering. And along this road. Where does this lead? I've got to remember now. Oh, there's another memorial around this corner. Unfortunately, a young lady died a couple of years ago on the left there after an accident. And it's a stark reminder to see the memorials as we drive around these country lanes, and why it's so important to drive safely and defensively. So as we come up to the end of the country lane, let's see where we're going to go next. Normally a left turn, but you never know where we might go. Everything seems alright. The candidate seems to be on the left side of the road, but the examiner did complain that the candidate was straddling over that line, but I haven't noticed it myself at the moment. So off we go, left turn towards Allingbury, another little village around Kettering. So, not much going on at the moment. Not a lot to say on country lanes really, except to handle the bends appropriately. The slowest part of a bend is before you go round, and to pull yourself around a bend. Look out for the deviation signs, the black and white arrows, the sharp deviation signs, and respond to them appropriately. And off we come up into Allingbury, 30 miles an hour limits, and the candidates come down to 30, so we're all good. He's staying on his side of the road, so we're all good still. A little bit straddling here. I was doing a right stop and reverse by the looks of it. So he's parking up on the right, one of the manoeuvres in the test. And interestingly, he was asked to do that whilst moving, and that is a thing these days. They can ask you to park up on the right whilst you're moving, rather than parking you up on the left to tell you to park up on the right. So he's done it in situ. So he stopped on the right, an appropriate distance from the curb. Now he has to reverse up 2 car lengths and then rejoin the traffic flows. So hopefully he's looking all around, especially over his right shoulder into the driveways behind him, because there's a blind spot there. And he's still coming back, keeping reasonably close to the curb. Any car within about 10 car lengths of you, just stop for them, in either direction. So he's stopping for the oncoming car. And is he going to carry on, or is he going to move off? Nope, he's going to carry on a bit more. And hopefully he'll do a left blind spot check. He's still moving backwards at the moment. He'll do a left blind spot check before he moves off, because he's moving off to the left, obviously. So, carrying on with our adventures. Let's see what's going to happen next. So still moving backwards. I'm sure that's about 2 car lengths. I think we're there, surely. There we go. And then check. Oh, still coming. Alright then. When you're ready. Well, I'm pretty sure that's more than 2 car lengths by now. So maybe the candidate should stop and carry on. So, hoping the examiner's told them that's far enough, thank you. Wait for the oncoming cars, they're within 10 car lengths. And check in everywhere. And off we go. Hopefully a blind spot check undertaken. And carrying on through lovely Allingbury, lovely village, really nice place. And let's see where next. Where are we going? Oh, left turn at the green. Don't know what he's hesitating there for, the candidate. Coming down to the end of the road to turn left. So, check, 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 and off we go. Lovely tea room on the right there. And there's a pub there on the left. Heard it's quite nice. Some of the tests do go in that car park these days and do a reverse bay park or a forward bay park, one of the two. I'm not sure which one. And carrying on through Allingbury. Has he been asked to pull over again? Oh yes, so we're asked to pull over again. Sometimes they pull over just to put things on their iPad where they're marking the candidate. Can't see any other reason to pull over there really. Might be other reasons. And then asked to move off again after that. It's quite a nice route, this one. It's not through the town too much at the moment. It's nice and countrysidey. And off we go again. Back through the country lanes. I didn't see any hand reflections to set off the sat-nav, so I don't presume the sat-nav's on at the moment. We're now moving into the faster moving roads, although it does say slow in the road just there. And there we go. So can't really work out what the position is of the candidate at the moment, but I'm still very aware of the fault for being over the centre line on the country lanes. I can't really see it too much at the moment, so it's very difficult to get it to sort of judge on a wide-angled lens camera like this. But he does seem to be on his side of the road, which is okay. So, as we come around the corner here, we're heading into a little hamlet. A warning sign there for a bend, 30-mile-an-hour limit. We're doing 30. Interestingly, there's some giraffes on the left we've just passed, or are we coming up to them? But we just passed them. I think they're gone past us now. And straight through this little group of houses and straight on to Isham. So we're heading for Isham now, another village. So nice to do test in Kettering with all the lovely villages around. Driving along the road there. When I do post edit on the video, I will put some reversing view shots. I mean, you know, reverse camera view shots. You probably can see them on and off as we go. So here we're coming into Isham pretty soon. Back into a 30. Candidate's doing 28. Roundabout warning sign. And just approaching a mini roundabout. And just remember, this is a single direction lane. Some people, or a person, has moved to the right there once to turn right, but it's not a dual carriageway. And I think the candidate was turning right, I would presume. Let's have a look. Oh, no, left. Off we go, left. And off we go. through Isham. Okay, now Isham has had a lot of improvements on the dual carriageway just on the other side of this village. We'll see if this is reflected on the video. People might be watching this in a year or two after this video, so it might be changed by then, or the roads might be slightly changed. So coming through Isham, not a lot to worry about. Remember, there's a box junction there, you don't want to be stuck on that in slow moving traffic. The sign is very important. If the examiner doesn't say anything, just follow the road ahead unless the signs say otherwise or the road markings. But it looks like a right turn coming up here into Burton Latimer, so that's interesting. So this is a little bit tricky. Obviously oncoming traffic have priority, but nothing's there now, so off we go. There might even be a filter arrow there at some point. We're in a 60 at the moment, and the candidate is speeding up quite appropriately to an appropriate speed. But as we come around this kind of summit, there are some 30 signs coming up. Now we can see those signs quite far away, but the candidate hasn't slowed down, and we're still doing 40 miles an hour. So unfortunately, this is another foul. This is another serious fault, which is equal to a foul. So that's another serious fault there for the candidate, for not slowing down to 30 when passing the 30 sign. Never mind. Live and learn in life. Keep an eye on the signs and respond to them appropriately. Not too sure if the examiner gave verbal action there to tell them to slow down, but these things happen. Sometimes it's just a learning experience. Coming through the into Burton Latimer, going past the Weetabix factory on the left. Candidate's speed is appropriate again, and another park up by the looks of it, parking up on the left. Yes. So what's going to happen now? Is it just an uphill start? I think it might be. And off they go again, carrying on with the driving test. So these lines on the left is a parking area. It's just a designated parking area. You can drive through them. It's just to help guide cars into their parking bays. You know, if they want to park up outside the house or whatnot. It's just designating a parking area. Another park up. So that's quite a few now. It's about 4 at least, isn't it? At least 4 park ups. And moving off again. So it's quite a few park ups for this candidate. And where next? Straight on through Burton Latimer. I think this is called Station Road in Burton Latimer. And the road gets more narrow. If we're going straight on to the mini roundabout, it gets more narrow as we go. So you have to be willing to meet other oncoming vehicles and drive defensively. But we do seem to be going straight on. Sometimes there's a right turn up here on some of the routes. But we're going to carry on here by the looks of it. Not turning right there, so we're carrying on. And the road just gets narrower and narrower as we go down towards the mini roundabout. So let's see what's going to happen now. So we're coming up to the mini roundabout, and I presume it's going to be a left turn. It could be a right turn, but it could be a left turn. Who knows? One of the two. There's only 2 ways to go. Now, why have we stopped here? Very interesting. Not too sure why there's a stop there, but okay. And it's a left turn at the roundabout. That was very odd. Didn't seem to be a reason for that. Well, there was a slowdown there. This is Kettering Road going up towards the A14 is in this direction. And most Kettering driving tests go on to the A14, which is a dual carriageway running around Kettering. At the roundabout ahead, they'll be told to go straight on or carry on at the roundabout. But I always advise this as a right turn, because the sign says it's a straight on. You could take it as a straight on, but it's an obvious right turn because it's actually at 2 o'clock on the roundabout. It's just over there on the right. So I can't see how that is a straight over. So I always advise my learners to give a right signal, left signal now, passing the exit and just exiting here. Just obvious to me it's a right turn, but never mind. Into a 40 now, second exit on the roundabout ahead. We're going to turn left, which is a second exit up towards Kettering A14 West. Now hopefully the learner isn't indicating, because a lot of people do, and that would be into McDonald's, but we're not going that way. So don't signal, because we don't want to mislead people. Be careful of this roundabout, because cars do come round on the outside as they're being instructed to do so. So people don't expect that. Now up here, the candidate's going to be asked to turn left onto the A14 West. So we're all good so far. Coming along down the slip road, we must get to speed, match the speed of the dual carriageway, which is about 60 miles an hour. Mirror, mirror, signal, and come over as soon as it's safe to do so. But we have a lorry, so what should we do? Check behind, come in at a safe distance. Unfortunately, the learner's come in quite early there and has picked up another serious fault. A bit harsh maybe, because the lorry's moving off, you know, he's backed off straight away. The lorry's moving off in front. The 2-second gap is very quickly established. But unfortunately, the candidate picked up a serious fault for coming in too close to the lorry. I think on the reverse view we can see there was enough time maybe to pull back a bit more before coming on. But that was a serious fault placed upon the candidate there. So I think we're up to about 3 now. So we're just coming off the A14, 300-yard marker is normally a mirror check, 200-yard marker, a signal, 100-yard marker, just a reminder to maintain your speed. And at the roundabout ahead, we've been asked to turn right, I presume, considering we've moved to the right-hand lane. And it will be the 4th exit to Kettering on the A509. Interestingly, on the approach to this roundabout, you can actually do this in the other lane as well. Both lanes can go round to the Kettering A509 according to the sign. So if it's a queue on the right lane, you can do this in the left lane. Stick to your lane though, and make it clear to everybody where you're going. Going across this junction though can be a bit dangerous if you're doing it on the outside. Learner's done the right thing, moved to the left lane, hopefully with proper mirrors and signals. And the next exit is here, coming down onto the dual carriageway. So we're on the right hand lane of a dual carriageway. We do need to come over to the left unless we know we're turning right ahead, which we don't. So the learner really does need to come over. So it should be a mirror mirror and then a signal and then move in to change lanes. But the candidate I should say, is staying on the right hand lane, on the inside lane, leaving on the inside lane. No, obviously turning right. Oh, maybe it was a right turn anyway, so everything was good. Well, in that case, the candidate hasn't made any mistakes. So that's good, really, I suppose. And off we go down onto these little housing estates. A bit of industrial area here with a little bit of a housing estate. Hopefully going to turn left here at the roundabout. So maybe mirror, mirror, and left signal. And off we go down, I think this is called Holdenby. Not a lot going on down here, just a a bend. Coming up to a roundabout, which I presume we're going to go straight over. And been asked to stop again on the left. Another stop. Oh, that's quite a few stops going on in this test. So, and then off again, hopefully with a blind spot check. Back up to the roundabout where they'll be going straight over. So coming up to the roundabout, straight over. So left lane on the approach, all seems to be appropriate. And round here, second exit. Sometimes at this point the instruction will be take the third exit on the next roundabout. Now there is a sign that says the third exit's a right. 1, 2, 3, see that? So it will be a right lane. I've had people go around there on the left lane before, which is a bit dangerous and not how it works. So remember, it's the third exit and it's a right turn. Got to be a bit careful on this one. It's quite a busy roundabout. We call this the Tesco's roundabout because it's near Tesco's. And I normally say if they're behind that sign on the roundabout, you can normally go. But it's a judgment call. And there's a junction to the right. I don't think we can quite see that in the video, but there's a junction to the right which is quite busy. Can be here a while, I must say. And then come on guys, let's go. And off we go very quickly. Well done for that, for a bit of gas on. So that's the third exit. So now we need to do mirrors, mirror, signal. Didn't really need to swing left so much. It's a bit of a slingshot really, that one. But anyway, coming up to the McDonald's roundabout again for obvious reasons. Called McDonald's, straight over that one. And the learner was going to go left there, although the instruction was to go straight over, and the examiner took control of the wheel and corrected the candidate. And then unfortunately that was put on the test sheet as well. Examiner took physical action. So I'm hoping that wasn't the time, because that really shouldn't have happened in that way. Mirror around the lorry. Not to be reflected on the candidate's test sheet, because going the wrong way on a driving test isn't in itself, it's not a driving fault, providing you go the wrong way correctly. Depends if you're required to follow the sign or not on that at that moment. But normally it's not a fault if you go the wrong way. And off we go, coming back here. Back up to Orion Way, round these corners, and the next left into past the test centre, turning right into the test centre car park, making sure it's safe to do so from oncoming vehicles, not crossing the giveaway lines there. That's good, and we're finished. So just going to pull up into the car park eventually and park and get the result of the driving test. As we could see, we could definitely spot 3 serious faults there that the examiner marked for. So unfortunately the candidate was not successful on this occasion. Picked up quite a few driving faults as well. We can't really see all of them in the front camera view, but these things happen. So I suppose on reflection, what we're looking at here is just maybe a bit of practice pulling onto the A14. Make sure we don't pull in too close to things. A bit of practice on the left and the right in Pytchley. And maybe road positioning along the country lanes and whatnot. So, I hope you found that useful. It was a typical route, but we're really not looking at the route. We're examining the faults and giving tips and advice on good driving. And if you like the video, please give me a like and even subscribe to the channel, because I'm thinking of starting up a series of these kind of walk-through, talk-through, drive-throughs. Thank you very much, and I'll see you again soon.